Welcome, everyone. Ready to dive into something we all know, and let's be honest, probably ignore most of the time.
Sounds intriguing. What's on your mind today?
The syllabus. That often skimmed document we get in every class. Turns out it's got a lot more going on than meets the eye.
Oh, the syllabus. I can already tell this is going to be interesting.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
We're going deep thanks to an article by Jay Parks and Mary B. Harris called The Purposes of a Syllabus.
And they did their homework. 200 syllabi analyzed, talk about dedication.
200. So they really know what they're talking about. One of their big points is that the syllabus isn't just some random handout.
Right. It's actually a seriously, carefully crafted document, and it's got this surprisingly rich history.
History of the syllabus. Okay, now I'm really interested. Hit me with some syllabus trivia.
Get this. The word syllabus has been around since 1656.
1656. Wow.
Way back then, it was a fancy term for table of contents. It wasn't until the late 1800s that it morphed into the course outline we know, and let's be honest, sometimes dread today.
So the syllabus is older than the United States. That's wild.
And it's evolved a lot over the centuries. It's gone from a basic list to this really powerful tool that can totally shape the whole educational experience.
Powerful tool, huh? So how does it work? What's its main function?
At its core, a syllabus is a contract. It creates this two-way agreement between the student and the instructor.
So it's like we're sealing the deal right at the start of the semester, laying out everything we're supposed to do, what the instructor expects.
Exactly. It's where all those crucial details get spelled out. Deadlines, grading policies, attendance, all of that.
And these aren't just casual agreements, right? This is serious stuff.
You got it. Those syllabi, they actually have legal weight.
Wait, legal weight? You're telling me the syllabus could end up in court?
It's happened. There have actually been cases where instructors didn't follow their own syllabi and found themselves in hot water because of it.
Wow. I guess they should have read the fine print.
Exactly. That's why a well-written syllabus is so crucial. It protects both students and instructors, makes sure everyone's on the same page right from the start. No surprises.
Definitely no surprises.
Yeah.
So as students, what details should we be zeroing in on in our syllabi? What's going to give us that clarity and protection?
Great question. For starters, look for a crystal clear course calendar. Think of it as your roadmap to success in the class.
A roadmap.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. But sometimes even with a roadmap, you need those signs along the way, right? The ones that tell you what to expect at each turn. So what kind of signs should we be looking for in a well-crafted syllabus?
You're totally right. Those signs are key. A good syllabus goes beyond just listing the dates. It gives you those specific details that can make or break your semester.
Okay, so like what? What kind of details are we talking about?
Well, for starters, are there required materials for each class? Like, will you need your laptop every time? Is there specific software you're supposed to have?
Oh, and the textbook. Don't forget about trying to track down that textbook.
Exactly. Having that all spelled out in the syllabus prevents those awkward moments where you're scrambling to figure out what's going on.
Tell me about it. I can't even count how many times I showed up to class totally unprepared because I only skimmed the deadline and missed the part about what we were actually supposed to be doing. Like showing up to a potluck with only a fork, not helpful.
The syllabus should also lay out the ground rules for late submissions, like what happens if you miss a deadline? Is there any wiggle room? Can you turn it in late for partial credit?
Right, because sometimes life happens. It's like having that safety net for those oops moments.
It's all about setting clear expectations from the beginning.
Speaking of expectations, another thing that always stresses me out is plagiarism. It feels like every professor has a different definition of what crosses the line.
Oh, absolutely. Academic honesty is so important, and the syllabus is the perfect place to lay down the law, so to speak.
So a good syllabus is going to spell out exactly what plagiarism means in that specific class.
Exactly. It'll give you examples, tell you the consequences. Think of it as your guide to ethical academic conduct because nobody wants to get caught in that trap.
No, definitely not. Especially when it's often an honest mistake. It's much better to have those clear boundaries from day one. So we've talked about deadlines, late policies, plagiarism. What else?
Well, beyond the specifics of assignments, the syllabus can also help create a more supportive and inclusive learning environment.
Okay, now that's not something I would have thought about. How does it do that?
You might be surprised. A well-crafted syllabus will often have statements about inclusivity, respecting diverse viewpoints, encouraging open dialogue.
So it sets the tone for the whole class.
Exactly. And it ensures everyone feels welcome and respected, which is essential for learning.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've covered the syllabus as a contract, but the article also mentions it acts as a historical record, which, honestly, Sounds a little less exciting.
I know, historical record doesn't exactly scream thrilling, but it's actually pretty important.
Okay, convince me. Why should I care about the syllabus being part of the historical record?
Because it means that what we do in the classroom today leaves a mark, It gets documented.
So future generations could look back and see what we covered in Intro to Philosophy, fall 2024. I'm not sure how fascinating that will be for them.
Think bigger picture for a second. It's not just about the specific content, it's about accountability.
Accountability. Okay, I'm listening. How does that work?
Well, these syllabi can get used in faculty reviews, making sure things are running smoothly in a department. They can be used for accreditation evaluations for the school. They're like an academic audit trail.
So it keeps everyone honest,
Hmm.
ensures quality control. I get it. And I bet that's reassuring for students too, right? Knowing that there's this record.
Exactly. And those records can be really important when you're transferring credits to a new school or even down the road when you're applying for jobs.
Oh, right. Because it shows exactly what you study, what you were learning. It's like a syllabus passport.
I like that, a syllabus passport. And a good passport needs the right details to be official, right?
Okay, so for a syllabus to do its job as a historical record, what needs to be in there?
It's got to have all the essentials. The course title, obviously, but also things like the department, how many credit hours it's worth, the instructor's name and title, any prerequisites.
And of course, a list of those required textbooks. Otherwise, how will future generations recreate our brilliant insights?
Exactly. It's like those old photo albums where people meticulously labeled everything with names and dates. Only instead of Aunt Mildred at the beach, it's week 3, Plato's Republic and the Allegory of the Cave.
Love it. Now we just need to make sure someone actually archives those syllabi so future generations can appreciate our dedication to ancient Greek philosophy. But what about all those online syllabi?
Ah, yes, the digital dilemma. This is something important to keep in mind.
What do you mean? I love a good online syllabus. It's so convenient. Eco-friendly, too.
I agree, they're super handy. But here's the thing. They can be edited, which sometimes makes it tricky to keep track of changes.
So if a professor makes a change to the online syllabus mid-semester, there's no record of the original agreement.
Precisely. And that can lead to misunderstandings or even disputes.
So it's always a good idea to save a copy of the syllabus at the beginning of the semester, just in case.
Absolutely. Think of it as your insurance policy.
Yeah.
That way, you've got a clear record of what was agreed upon, even if the online version changes.
Right, because screenshots are forever. All right, so we've covered a lot. The syllabus is a contract. It's a permanent record. What's next? All right, so the syllabus, it's a contract. It's a historical record. What else is there? This is where it gets really interesting, right?
This is where we get to the heart of it, I think. We're going to talk about the syllabus as a learning tool.
Okay, now that's what I'm talking about. I'm all ears.
And it's not just about what you're learning, but how to actually learn better, how to become a more effective learner.
Sign me up. I could definitely use some help in that department. So, spill the beans?
Mm-hmm.
How does the syllabus help with that? It's not like it's got study guides tucked in there or anything.
Well, not exactly. The article talks about how a really well-designed syllabus can actually encourage something called self-regulated learning.
Self-regulated learning. Okay, that sounds kind of intense, like I need to start meditating with my textbooks or something.
Not quite. It's more about understanding how you learn best,
Yeah.
Figuring out what strategies work for you and then using them. Taking charge of your own education.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
But how does the syllabus fit into all of this?
Think about those little tips you sometimes see in a syllabus. Things like time management strategies, study tips for different subjects, or even advice on tackling different types of assignments. Those aren't just random suggestions. They're actually based on research and theories about how people learn best.
So it's like, instead of just saying, read chapter 5, a good syllabus might say, here's how to get the most out of chapter 5, and by the way, here are some resources that might come in handy.
Exactly. It's like having a toolkit for success, not just a to-do list.
That is cool. I wish I'd thought about syllabi that way when I was a student. And here's another thing I've been thinking about. The syllabus can also give you a peek into the instructor's teaching style, right?
Absolutely. It's like a sneak preview of what to expect.
Like, are they a tough grader? Do they
Yeah.
want you to participate a lot in class? What's the vibe going to be?
Exactly. A well-written syllabus will give you a sense of the instructor's personality, their values, their expectations. It might highlight the connections between the course material and your actual life, too. Make it relevant.
Show you why it all matters. I like it.
And here's one final point that really stuck with me. A syllabus that's well-crafted can actually be a model of professionalism itself.
Okay, now how does that work?
think about it, if the syllabus is clear, organized, easy to understand, thoughtfully put together, it reflects the instructor's own values and standards. It sets the tone for the whole class.
Right. It's like they're saying, hey, I take this class seriously, and I want you to too.
Exactly. And that can make a world of difference for both the students and the instructor.
I am genuinely amazed by how much thought goes into a good syllabus. It's definitely not just a list of deadlines.
It's a powerful tool, and when it's used effectively, it can completely transform the whole learning experience for everyone.
Well said. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the surprising history of the syllabus to its hidden powers as a learning tool. It just goes to show that sometimes the most ordinary-seeming things can have a huge impact.
Absolutely.
And for everyone listening, we want to hear from you. What would make the ideal syllabus for you? What one thing would you make sure to include? Share your thoughts with us on social media, and until next time, happy learning.